Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Spotlight. My name is Reza Kodadus from Action Coach, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by a special guest, Finn Doherty. Finn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's great to have you. So, Finn, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and the business you represent today.
So my name's Finn. I'm 25 and I'm a young entrepreneur at the start of my journey. I'm the founder and director of Camden Open AIR Gallery and the co-founder of Pinkie Drinks. Camden Open AIR Gallery is the main business, and we are essentially an art gallery that seeks to showcase people, and our mission is to kind of find, incubate and build the next generation of high street brands using Camden Town as our proving ground.
Fantastic. So, Finn, what got you into the business in the first place? What inspired you to do this?
It's a good question. I think you are somewhat always entrepreneurial when you're a kid. You know, I had my first business when I was at university. It was a very small thing, and just kind of loved it. But I'd really been looking for the opportunity of where I wanted to go. But I grew up in Camden, and I've always thought the place is a massive opportunity, and I've wanted to get involved in that area. I think it's overlooked compared to other boroughs. It's so busy, but there's nothing really here. So I was kind of trying to find ways to get involved, you know, whether that be go work for a company, stuff like that. But then, you know, lockdown really changed the trajectory of my career, and I had some time on my hands. And Camden High Street particularly was getting quite a lot of footfall, especially in the, you know, during the proper lockdown, just because people were walking through on their day-to-day walks up to Regent's Park. It's quite unique. It's got all these metal shutters, all the shops all the way down. So I started getting artists to paint the shutters to create an outdoor art gallery. And then one thing led to another, and that's it really.
Fantastic. Wow. And so one of the things that we know, being a business coaching organization, is that there are challenges, obviously, all the time, but particularly with small businesses at the early stages. What were your challenges when you first started?
I mean, the first major challenge really was kind of when paying the shutters was just an idea. I never really thought it would go somewhere. You know, it didn't cost that much money, and it kind of just went. We did 1, did 2, did 30. But kind of taking that next step, kind of going, okay, here's this. How do I get to where I want to go? How do I make this something that generates an income for myself and going forward? That was probably the first big challenge that I had, and how to work that out. And I kind of saw that the shops were kind of, the tenants were leaving, so I wanted to fix on that one. But I think for me, the biggest challenge, there's 2 things that kind of stand out to me. One is people. It's really, you know, it is the most important thing as a business owner, is to make sure that your people are happy, they're motivated, they want to work for you, because you need, especially at the startup stage, so much out of them. And then also, you know, as a young entrepreneur, it's capital and cash flow. You know, we are bootstrapping it, you know, self-funding, and you know, we live off what we make. So it's just, you've got to keep going. You can't make mistakes. You know, sometimes you get knocked back and stuff like that, but it's just being sensible, not taking too big a risk, but you still have to take risks, and calculating that. And I've got it wrong. Luckily, we're still here, but that's kind of the key.
And were there any lessons that you've learned, obviously, apart from the ones you mentioned? And, you know, would you have done things differently? Has that reshaped your decision-making process?
I probably definitely would have done things differently. This was my first like proper business where you know, you've got employees, and you know, you've got to do reconciliation, all that stuff. So now I would know what I'd do differently, how I'd do it, and the steps that I took, and I'd miss out a few stages that I took. And I definitely focus on something that didn't necessarily require so much effort to kind of build. You know, a gallery, you've got to find your clients, you've got to do your stuff. I try and find something that maybe is a little bit easier in the start to kind of get you going, maybe just focus on agency work, like working with brands that, you know, is a little bit easier, and get going. But that's about it. You know, I think all of the mistakes and the wins, I would say, that I've had, they've kind of got me to where I am today. So I wouldn't necessarily change them too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And hindsight is a great thing. We don't always,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. And so you touched on people, your staff, you know, how important they are to you, especially at this stage. What's your approach to hiring people? How do you go there?
You know, I'll put my hands up here and say that it's not my strong suit. I'm very much, you know, like I want something done, get it done straight away. And it's, you know, and I've always been able to just kind of do it and go off and do it. And that's a very big difference to when you've got staff. You need to actually make sure that they know what you want them to do, be able to communicate that to them, and then also give them the tools to do that. So when when it comes to staffing, you know, again, as I mentioned, we are a small business, so we can't afford major salaries, you know. So I look for people that can see the opportunity in, you know, working for a small business and getting to do jobs that you wouldn't necessarily get to do in a bigger company. I look for people that are willing to go that kind of extra mile, but also people that aren't afraid to say, do you know what, no, I'm not doing that, I need a break, or, you know, are willing to stand up to me. I think that's really important. Otherwise, you know, it can become, they get burnt out and, you know, you then resent them for not doing something. And I need that balance between the two of them being able to have the confidence in their own ability to go, do you know what, I need a break, or I can't do this, you know, I can do that, but then I can't finish this will have to get done later, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so yeah, that was well described. I guess coming back to you personally, we know entrepreneurship, especially at the start stage, take a lot of your time, and you're young, probably don't have a family, maybe I'm making assumptions here, but you know, business takes a lot of your time. How do you balance that kind of work-life balance, or how do you create that work-life balance and make sure that
I mean, I think that's probably one of my biggest assets as being like a young person in business, is that the stakes aren't as high, and I don't have a family, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have kids, you know. So if I do get it wrong and it, you know, it goes wrong, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. I'm not, you know, putting someone else's life at risk necessarily, or well-being. So that's probably one of my biggest assets. But the work-life balance is definitely tricky. You know, it's taken me, we are what, 2.5 years in now, and I'm still not great at it. I'm better, you know, I take weekends off now unless I really have to. You know, the business seems to run when I'm not there, which is a big, I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of, it's like a baby, you kind of, you have this attachment to it, you don't want to give it up, you don't want to, you know, you feel you're responsible for it, and taking that step is a big, you know, and that took a while. That took 2.5 years to kind of get to that point that it will be okay if you're not there every day. So,
yeah, interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. But you know, you getting there, and you're better
definitely getting there, definitely get there. There's a lot of people that have helped me. You know, there's a few people in my life that have really, you know, my friends, the relationships that I have with people, and also the artists, you know, it's been quite a humbling experience with them. They've kind of seen me really tired, or, you know, not being able to do everything that's needed to be done, and they've kind of gone, do you know what, hold off, you know, I'm happy to wait for this or whatever, or, you know, don't worry about that, I can sort it, just, you know, I appreciate the opportunity. So it's a balance between yourself and having the people around you and the infrastructure in place to be able to take that time off. And I think
the support network is absolutely. And one of the other things that we find with entrepreneurs, that they have personal habits and things that they do as routines that actually help them with their success. Are there any that you kind of subscribe to, or you know, build into your work and day life?
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially in this day and age with like TikTok, Instagram, you're seeing a lot of people saying that you've got to get up at 4 a.m, work till 10 p.m, you know, read 5 books a day, whatever. And I think that's very, very unhealthy. Some people work better at night, you know, it doesn't matter. So for me, the key thing was kind of making sure that I'm in the office before everyone. So I have like an hour and a half on my own where I can just get the stuff that, you know, I can't really do in front of them done, and it's out of the way. So, you know, I push their start time back to 10 o'clock, and I come in at 8, And then, you know, I just get that 2 hours where I can do all my emails and get ready for the day so that I'm hands-on. That was a really big thing for me. What else? And self-care, making sure that you do take breaks. You know, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to, you know, kind of stuff. But also, you have to kind of trust in the process as well. I think once you kind of realize, I've always, you know, wanted to save money and not spend as, you know, if I can do something, I'll do it. But sometimes that is not always the best option. Ooh. Sorry, you froze.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you froze. Did you get that?
Yes, absolutely. We got that. No problem. Now, okay, we talked about that. Thanks very much for that. What's your plan for the future? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years, and where do you see the business going?
So for me, there's a couple of things that I want to do. One is I want to like cement my position in this shop, you know, have enough cash in the bank to kind of whatever happens, I got runway. That's key for me. You know, make sure that I'm in a sensible place. But now my job is to try and scale it and kind of focus on the, you know, the growth of the business, which kind of starts from next year, which is really, you know, bringing this, finding different people on the high street. We're running a series called Icons, which is kind of defining the brand of Camden for the future, which is finding young entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs, chefs, musicians, knitwear designers, whatever, and just giving them a trial on the high street. And also, you know, I'd like to go for some form of equity investment at some point. You know, I think for me to do it just on my own from now all the way through, I think I'd be silly not to kind of try and find someone that can help me in this. There's lots of people that, you know, have done retail, they've done, you know, developments within areas, and I'd love to kind of widen that circle and kind of go through that, whether that be equity, whatever, but just kind of widen that circle, bring more people in, get more stakeholders involved with the actual business, different people, more community outreach, whatever it is, grow the presence.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Okay. That sounds a kind of very sensible approach. And I wish you all the success in pursuing that. So whatever comes next in your journey. Thank you very much for your time today. I really enjoyed our chat, actually. Very inspiring to see a young person doing so well and having so much energy and enthusiasm, and of course, you know, ideas about how you change your business. So really enjoyed our chat. There was a lot of good shares actually for entrepreneurs watching this. So thank you for this. And it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much for having me. Likewise, it was lovely to meet you. And I'm sure we'll chat in the future.
Great. Thanks, Finn.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.